Hi everyone. Today we are going to see a Python program to demonstrate how you're going to iterate over rows and columns in a Pandas data frame. As you are aware that Pandas data frame is a two-dimensional array with rows and columns, or you can visualize it as a SQL table or a spreadsheet in a Excel sheet. So as it is a combination of rows and columns, how we are going to iterate your pandas data frame. First thing is we are going to discuss in this video is how we are going to iterate using how we are going to iterate the data frame through rows, how we are going to iterate the data frame column wise. Okay, so before jumping into how we are going to iterate over the rows or how we are going to iterate over the columns, first let us have a look into the how our data frame looks like and display it. So now if you could see, this is a simple import statement. Import pandas as PD. We need to import the pandas anyhow. And this is how we created our data frame, pd.dataframe. And we created an employee data frame with four columns, EMP ID, EMP name, age, and gender. So this is how we created an employee data frame. Once you're done creating the employee data frame, we are storing it back into df underscore employee. We'll just display it to check display it to understand how the data frame looks. And there is also an attribute called shape which will tell us the dimension of the data frame. As we said, data frame is a combination of rows and columns. How many rows and how many columns it can have? Five rows and five columns. It can have five rows and six columns. It can have six rows and 10 columns. So we'll just, to our understanding, we'll just try to display the shape also. Let me run. So once I have run this. This is my data employee data frame. So with four columns, EMP ID, EMP name, age, and gender. As such, we have given here. These are all the values row wise. So 101, 102, 103, and all. And EMP1, employee 1, E1, E2, E3, E4 we gave. So these are all the respect their ages, which randomly I gave. And gender, it can be male or female. And the shape of the employee data frame is 10 by 4. Okay. Now, what exactly is meant by iteration? So this is our employee data frame. What exactly is iteration is looking into each and every element in a data frame. Suppose, so as we said, we are going to discuss two things. How we are going to iterate over the rows. Okay. How we are going to iterate over the rows in the data frame. Data frame means pandas data frame itself. So how we are going to iterate, which means how we are going to look into each and every row in a pandas data frame. This is the first row which we need to look. Then this will be our second row, the third row. As such, how long is the data frame is there? That many times you need to look into each and every row. Okay, how we are going to iterate over these rows in data frame. So there is a method called iterrows. Iterrows, which there is a method called iterrows which helps us to iterate over each and every row individually. And it will what exactly on which we are calling upon this method will be calling upon in data frame. So our data frame here is going to be df underscore employee. So that's why we are giving df underscore employee dot iterrows. We are calling it, as we said, we are calling iterrows to iterate over each and every row. So this is how we are calling it. But what exactly it returns you? Iterrows will return you two things. One is an index and the other is a row series. So it will return you first index and then it will return you the whole series. So you need to store it somewhere. So that I'm giving a I comma row. So, and this should be in a for loop because we'll be iterating the whole, we need to iterate the whole data frame. Assume if your data frame is having 10 rows, you need to iterate 10, all the 10 rows. For that's why we'll be using the loop statement here. So for I, so because it will return you the index gets stored in I, and the row series will be stored in the row here. So now as we need to iterate the whole data frame, we are using the for. I'll give a display. As we are aware that it is an index, I'm giving an index here. Index print I and then row series, because it is returning as a row series. That also we are aware that iterrows is going to return it. So we are trying to store it in row. So for the first time, it will give you the 0th index and its row series. Next time, first index, its row series. As such, until you complete the whole data frame. So which means till ninth index and its row series. This is what is our expected output. This is how we are iterating over the rows with the help of iterrows method. Let us run this. Don't be scary. If you could understand, this is a, though it looks appears a lengthy one, this, if you understand, it is easy. So till here we are aware earlier only. So now we are giving index 0 at 0th index. What is the row series? 101, e1, 10 and m. Okay, done with this part. For the second time, the iter rows, it will jump into here. So now that's why index 1, this is the row series. Similarly, index to 103. So as such, it will iterate over whole lot of data frame till index 9. Employee ID is 110. This is what is our last value, right? 110. So till here, it iterated row wise. Okay. So this is how we are going to iterate over the rows in a data frame. Okay. Now, how we are going to iterate over, I'm just commenting out it because it is too lengthy. Now we are done with iterating over the rows. So let us check how you are going to iterate over the columns. So the second thing is iterating over the columns in a data frame. How you are going to do this? Okay. So for iterating over the, what exactly is iterating over the columns? You have four columns. So first we need to get all the values which got stored in the column name empid. Next column is emp name. We need to get all the values in the second column. Next the third column. Next the fourth column. If there are more than four columns also, you need to get all the values column wise. Okay, so how we are going to get it? There is a method, or there is something called as columns, which will be calling upon the data frame itself. So using this will be iterating column wise. So how we are going to do is, so our data frame is df underscore employee. We need to get the columns. So columns, this will give you all the columns. Okay, but we are interested in iterating one after the other, not all the columns. So we need to store it in, right? So again, for column in df underscore employee dot columns. So we need to iterate the whole data frame in this way. First emp id, its values, then emp name, its values, age, these values, gender, these values. So df underscore employee dot columns will return you all the columns. So what are the columns? It will give you emp id, emp name, age and gender. Then we are also interested in what are the values within the column. So for that, again df underscore employee, what are the values in column? If you are trying to display what exactly you have that, if you want to know the column name, because we are aware that, as I am saying, it will return you df underscore employee dot columns will return you every column in the data frame. So it will return you. So we are interested in looking into each and every column individually. So that's why we'll first give a column name. So we'll print col. Because this will be the column name, and this df underscore employee of column name will give you all the values within the column. So our expected output here will be column name is empid, its values. Then emp name, its values. Then age, its values. Gender, its values. We are trying to print this and its values respectively. Okay, let me run in. Please mind that iterating over the rows got commented because it is getting more lengthy. I just commented out. The simple trick is select it and give a control question mark so that everything will be commented. If it is commented, it will be commented. If it is not commented, now it is not in a commented form. You want to comment it, control question mark. Okay. So right now I'm commenting for my simplicity's sake. Let me run this. So this is my employee data frame shape. This and all we are aware. Now coming into picture, how we are iterating. As I said, column name. The column name is empid. And what are all the values? These are all the values. These are all the values with the index, associated index it could. Okay. Then column name is emp name. Again, all the values of emp name, E1, E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7, E8, E9, and E10. The third column is column name is age, the respective ages, whichever we have mentioned 10, 46, 32, 27, 65, and so on. The fourth column is gender. So, this gender, it can be M, F, and all. Okay. This is how we iterated over the columns. So, this is not only for a 10 by 4. If you have one more column also, that gets displayed when we give a columns method, that column will be similarly displayed here. And to get retrieve all the values within the columns, df underscore employee of column. Okay, so this is how we are going to iterate over the rows in a data frame and iterate over the columns in a data frame. Suppose if you want, if you have a data frame, if you want to iterate each and every row and look into something else, this is how you can do with the help of iterrows. If you want a column wise also, you can use this columns method. And for everything, as we have to look into the whole lot of data frame, we'll be using a for loop. Okay, I hope you got what I have said. For more programs, please like and subscribe to Python Enthusiast. Thank you.